Hello, everybody.
Hi.
This message from the Hispanic Presbyterian Church in Patterson is for our youth group.
Yay!
Hey, finally. Our youth group, which is a magnificent group of young people that make us proud every day. We have been in communication with you via text, via phone, and some of you we have seen throughout this time of pandemic and throughout this time of social distancing. But today, Natalia and I felt that we needed to have this one-way conversation with you. First, I want to say that we miss you. We miss you greatly.
For sure.
We miss having our time together. We miss having our youth group discussions. And I know Natalia misses having you in her choir.
Oh my goodness, you guys know how much I miss you. Thank God we have technology and I can text you guys and call you guys and FaceTime with you. We have, I have chats with you on Instagram, some of you on Facebook. So that has been good, but not being able to see your faces has been one of the hardest things. But the other hard part has been not being able to give you guys hugs and saying what's up and seeing how you guys are and making sure you're okay in person, because being in person, it's much more, I don't know, you feel it much more when it's in person than when it's like this. But thank God we have the technology to at least do this, and I'm sorry it took us this long to do this, but we've been thinking about you. We have been texting, we have been talking on our group chat, so it's been great that we at least have that.
So the purpose today is really to have a very brief message to you, to let you know that we do understand that this is a time like no other, and we know that you have been through something that none of us had an idea that would come our way, and none of us have been through. I can say to you, and you know that I am old, that I never had to live through a time where I had to separate myself and isolate myself in my home from everyone and everything that I was used to. So in the time that I've lived on this planet, I've never had to overcome what you are overcoming right now. And so I know that even though we've been in communication, I want you to know that we understand, and we want you to know that it is okay if you have felt sad, upset, a little depressed, if you have felt like you don't understand what's happening. It is normal and it is okay, because we are in a different state of things, and the normalcy that we had kind of ended, and we entered in a time that we couldn't anticipate and we were not prepared for. However, I also want to say to you that in my conversations with you and with all the young people that I have had a chance to talk to, I always say to Natalia that you all fill me with hope. I am old. I am from a generation that lived in a different way. But I get to see in you that you really are the generation that is going to pull things together and that is going to help this planet to heal. Yeah. And it isn't because you're going to go out there and do great things and, do some work that no one has seen. It is because you are all very open-minded. You care about each other. You care about what's happening to the planet, the environment. You care about being inclusive and making sure. Yes. And so you fill me with hope, and I want you all to know that. I also want you to know that you have in you all that you need to make it happen, to make the world better, to reach your dreams. You have it in you.
I always tell you guys, we usually talk about it when it's about a relationship, about the other person not completing you, but complimenting you. And you guys, like my mom says, you're already complete, and you're going to be able to reach all those goals that you have and you want and be a part of this new world, this new normal that is going to start happening. And you've already started adjusting and adapting. You guys are so quick to adapt and learn and thrive in different scenarios. Like some of you have talked about how, Nati, I love the the
Distance
online
learning.
distance learning because I don't have to get dressed up to go to school. I've loved it because I don't have to get dressed up to go to work like I used to. Nobody picks on, oh, you wore that 2 days ago. It doesn't matter. There are more important things like your education that you're now getting online. You guys have more knowledge of technology than I think we will ever have combined. My dad, even less. You know, you guys have been through struggles, whatever they are, be them with money, with bullying, with being from another country. That's something we all have in common. We're all, or our families are not all from here. But you can learn from their stories and their struggles and apply them to the struggles we're seeing in the world now. And you know that there are a lot of them. But you have everything in you to combat those struggles and to come out victorious.
You are so strong, stronger than what you probably think, right? And hearing that you are so adaptable and so flexible, and that those are qualities that are going to be needed in the world that we're building right now, in what's coming right now. So if at any point throughout this you have felt that this is too much, or you have felt a little down, it is normal to feel that way. But today's message to you is that you are going to be okay. You are going to be fine, and that you have what it takes to go through this and come through at the other end of this stronger and better for it. You're learning so much, and you have shared some of that learning with us in our conversations that we have had with some of you. Some of you are thinking of a different career altogether because of what has happened and what you see that is going on in the world. Some of you have thought of different ways of learning now that you are at home. Some of you have discovered that you love to learn with technology and from a distance. Others now know, you know what, I do like to have more interaction with people. So you've taken this time to analyze who you are, what you want, and where you see yourself going in a world that is changing. And one of the things that I want to remind you of is that change will happen always. All the time.
Always.
Yes, it's actually what makes life interesting. Imagine if every day was the same, and every person was the same, and every story was the same. It would be so boring. But change is part of growing and of becoming stronger. So the world right now is going through a lot of changes. And sometimes things will get very bad before they get any better. And one story that I used to read to you all when you were young in Bible school was about the butterfly and the changes that a butterfly goes through. And so the world right now is in a cocoon. And inside that cocoon, we're all inside our homes, we're all away from each other, but things are happening. Changes are happening. Transformation. There's a big difference between a change and transformation. So the butterfly comes out of a cocoon, and it had gone through stages prior to becoming that colorful, beautiful butterfly. So change always brings better things. But what happens sometimes is that when we're in the middle of the struggle of the change, when that butterfly is inside of the cocoon, sometimes she's uncomfortable in there. Sometimes it takes her longer to come out. Sometimes she waits to the very last minute to come out because she's too comfortable in there. But the reality of it is that she has to come out of the cocoon, and what comes from it is something stronger and beautiful.
Yeah, and remember, each butterfly is different. Just like my mom says, some takes 2 weeks, sometimes. Remember, even their chrysalis, their cocoons, aren't the same. They're different. Their colors, their shapes are different. So your transformation is not going to be the same as your friend's transformation or from the transformation I had. Mine was completely different than the one my mom had. And guess what? We're still transforming because, you know, we're older than you, but there's a difference between her transformation in this stage in her life and my transformation in my stage in my life. You guys know I always say when Natalia Cruz thinks and what I'm going through now. So change will always happen. It's okay to be fearful of it because it's something that's unknown. And me, I hate the unknown, and you know that. I hate not knowing what's going to happen, what's going to be, and it's unsettling. It's okay to feel that. It's okay to feel those things because we have to feel the stuff that's hard to feel the good things. You have to know what the struggle is to enjoy the success. So we might all be in this stage of struggle, but don't be afraid of it. It's okay. And we're in it together. I always tell you guys, we're here together. Even though we're apart, we're in it together. I've been through a lot of things, and you know what? I am here for you to help you go through that process, to help you go through that change. That's part of my job as not only your leader as a youth group, but as your friend, your older friend. Much older, but that's okay.
And so I want to leave you with three things, right? I want you to think about these three things. That change is a constant, but that you're not alone in it. That you are part of something greater than yourself, and you know it. All you have to do is look around you to see the perfection of the imperfection that we live in. So I know that you know that. I know that you belong to something greater than yourself that takes care of you. I also invite you to keep a journal. Keep a journal and write those thoughts and those things that you maybe are afraid to share with someone else. Write about what are you worried about in this time? What are the things that you like about all this change? What are the things that you dislike? What are the plans that you have for when this change ends and a new phase of your life begins? Keep a journal. You can keep an electronic journal. I know your phones have ways of taking notes and maintaining information, written information in them. It's great to do that, make your plans. So change is good. It's okay to be uncomfortable with it, but it will end. Maintain a journal and trust that things will get better. As bad as it may seem right now, as hard as this struggle may be, as difficult as this time may seem, as tough as maybe your situation right now may be, I assure you it does get better. And the change always brings a positive. So think of those three things and try to maintain your hope. I know sometimes it's easier said than done, right? But it can be done. And know that you have the strength and what it takes to succeed through this time.
I always think of the phrase that I roughly, right, the quote, everything will be all right in the end. If it's not all right, it's not the end. So we might get comfortable and think things are okay. Maybe they're not 100% what you want them to be, but that just means it's not the end yet. If you're not happy in your success, in your situations, it's not the end yet. That means it's still transforming. There's still a few more chapters in your book you have to live, right? Mm-hmm. You all know that. I always talk about, you guys, some of you just graduated, went to high school. That's a whole other chapter in your book that now you'll be all right in the end. Maybe that's at your high school graduation. What that's going to look like, who knows? It might be virtual like some of you had this year. But it's all right because you'll finish. And then after that, you go to college. You guys know I'm still in college and I graduated like years ago. But that's all right. I'm close to an end. So just remember that. Everything will be all right in the end. If it's not all right, it's not the end yet. Okay?
And we want to leave you today with some words to think, right? We always tie it to the book of instructions that we have been given. And in this book, which is the Bible, we find a lot of good ideas, a lot of good advice, a lot of good wisdom to carry us through times when sometimes we feel like we don't have answers, or sometimes we can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so Natalia was talking about chapters in your life, and you know that those chapters, you write them. You write them with your thoughts, with your ideas, with the choices that you make. You know, every morning when you get up and you give thanks to God for another day, you make choices. You choose to live your day happily with what you have. Think of what you have rather than focusing on what you don't. It's so easy to say, oh my goodness, I wish I had those sneakers. Those are the ones I want. I hate the ones I have. But it would change if you would say, you know what, I would like those, but I'm grateful that I have these ones. These are the ones that I have. They're not new. Maybe they are torn and worn, but they're mine. So, you know, attitude and the way we think really, really play a tremendous part in writing those chapters of your life. And so the book of instructions, our Bible, has a few things, right? So we are going to, that we can apply, a few things that we can apply. We're going to share just two with you today. I'm going to read to you from Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. And when we get back to our church, we can have a study on Jeremiah, who was a great leader, an unlikely leader, someone that when you learn about him, you're going to say, wow, if Jeremiah was that kind of person, I can be a leader too. And you have in you what it takes to be a leader of your own life and of what you're building for yourselves. So in Jeremiah, the Lord says to him one day when Jeremiah was a little worried, God says to him in chapter 29, verse 11, for I know the plans I have for you. This is what the Lord declares. I have plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. So I say to you that in God's immense plan, that our head, our mind is too small to understand this universe and the plan that creation and God has for everything in this universe. But there is a plan, and it is always to give you hope and a future. You just have to do your part and live your days making the right choices and allowing the power that's in you and the strength that's already in you to come to the surface.
So my verse comes from a different book. It comes from Isaiah. It's chapter 41, verse 10. But before I read it, I want you guys to always remember what I say to you. You guys all have my number. You guys know I'm always here for you. I'm not the only person that's always there for you. There's God who is always 24/7 with you by your side. And in Isaiah 41:10, he reminds us that, okay? And it says, do not be afraid. I am with you. I am your God. Let nothing terrify you. I will make you strong and help you. I will protect you and save you. I know you've heard me say those words, but God said them first. So remember that. He's always there with you. Your Holy Spirit, that little voice inside to guide you on those choices every day, is with you. And the Son, Jesus, is also with you, guiding you and protecting you. So
we love you. We just hope that this short message uplifts you. And I want you to know that we will come together soon. We will join each other again soon in our church or somewhere. Things are changing. This is a time of change. We may meet at our church. We may meet virtually, we will find a way. We may be apart, but we are united. We are together because love is the force and the glue that keeps God's people together. And we love you. And from a distance, we send you a big, big, big hug and blessings from above. We love you. God bless you. Love you all.